Hello and welcome to Allie's Story Corner. This is where I will be doing all of my story times from now on. This is episode 1, and yes, I am aware that I have done other story times, but since we have a new name, this is episode 1. For today's story time, we have the time I told my teacher off. Yes, you heard that correctly, I told my teacher off. So let's start from the beginning. So this is the beginning of senior year. My first day of senior year, I walked into my 5th period class, and which was a math class, and there was nothing but freshmen in this math class. Why? Because I had to retake one of my math classes that I had failed in my freshman year. So here I was in this math class full of freshmen, and I was just not having it. I was like, this is not, no. I'm sorry, no. So after that class ended, I went to my guidance counselor, Miss P, and I was like, Miss P, please, there has got to be a way that you can get me out of this class. Please, I cannot be in this class with nothing but freshmen. So she did, and she gave me 3 options. It was either to pick another math class, but all the other classes, like day school class, pick another day school math class, but they were all freshmen. Do online, but I'm awful at math, and if I don't see you do it, I'd fail. Or do night school. So I picked night school. And after that, then I had to pick another class to take. So I picked yearbook. Got to yearbook the first day, and it was like, whoa, what the heck did I do? It was not what I thought it was going to be. I thought I was going to be like taking pictures and whatnot. No, I walked into this classroom that was probably no bigger than my bedroom right now, and we were all clumped and huddled together, and I like barely knew anyone in that class, and the couple of kids that I did know, like we weren't even really acquaintances. So I was just kind of uncomfortable, and I was like, I picked the wrong class. So I'm talking to my friends at lunch, and my friend Jessica is like, listen, I am in this journalism class, why don't you switch and come into my class? Now, before I continue, let me tell you that for lunch, if you were in buildings 1, 2, and 3, you had first lunch, and 4, 5, and 6, or 7, however many, was in second lunch. Most of the seniors were in first lunch, so I was like, whatever class I go to, it needs to be in first lunch. So when Jessica was like, yeah, come into my journalism class, I was like, heck yeah. So I ran back up to Miss P and begged her to switch my class, which I forgot to mention that my yearbook teacher ended up leaving anyways, so she switched it, and I got put into journalism. Well, my first day of journalism, I walked into the room, and the first thing I noticed is that the class is like segregated. Like, not black and white, but like the editors are on one side, and then us who write the stories are on the other. Like, yeah. Second thing I noticed was there was like barely any kids in this class. Like, there might have been 15 of us total, which is not a lot in a high school class. Yeah. And then the third thing I noticed was the teacher. We'll call her Sims. Oh my goodness. She, ugh. Like, I promise you, from the day I stepped into that class, probably until now, she still knew who I was. She did not like me. No lie. Like, every class, there was always something between us. Like, for example, the first 5 to 10 minutes of class was, where you settle down, and they have the announcements and whatnot, and everybody's talking, and she would always come to me and shush me. And I hate being shushed, 1. And 2, I would never be talking loud. I would literally be like everybody else's volume or whispering. I never would be loud. And she would always single me out and shush me. And honestly, I could pull a race card because I was like the only black person in that class, besides one other girl who ended up leaving. But I was like, you know what, whatever, okay. So there was that, and then there was this one time she told me she was going to shoot me in the foot. Like, no lie. She said that if I didn't be quiet, she would shoot me in the foot. I'm not joking. And then, I don't know, there was just always like these crazy times, and like she would always give us this busy work, and then she could never give us an A on anything. It was like, oh, you forgot a comma, I gave you an F. Like, that type of thing. Like, no lie. And I would just get frustrated. I'd be like, I'm trying to do all of this work. I would write these articles, and then they'd never get put in the paper. So I'd become super, super frustrated. Like, I'm doing all of this work, and I'm not getting any credit for it. So at one point, I decided, you know what? I'm just not going to try. I'm not going to try anymore because it's getting me nowhere. So then finally came this day where I had been absent the day before, and I missed a really, really big English test. So my teacher told me, my English teacher was like, oh, she wrote a note for me to come to her class during 5th period to, take the test. And I walked into my 5th period class, did not put my stuff down or anything, walked right over to Sims, handed Sims the note and was like, is it alright if I go down to my 5th period class? I missed my test and it's really a really big part of my grade and I really need to make it up. Not to mention, not only was Sims a journalism teacher, but she was also an English teacher, so I figured she'd understand. Yeah, she flat out told me no. And when I tell you the blood in my body was just like, bubble, 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 I was like, I'm going to ask again. Of course, I didn't say this to her, but I asked again. I was like, please, I really need to make this test up. I missed it, and it's a really, really big part of my grade. This is pass or fail right here. And she was like, no, if you needed to take this test that badly, then you should have been here. And when I tell you, my blood skyrocketed and I just went off. I was like, why do you always have to be so up the butt? You're such a mean teacher. All the other teachers understand. Why can't you understand? You're the worst teacher here. I hope they fire you. Yeah, I just exploded and went off. That might be a little exaggerated, but it was along those lines. Just straight blew up and went off on this lady. And the look on her face was just pure shock. She looked like this. Exactly, like she was so shocked. She was just standing there staring at me. And then, I was looking back at her like, yeah, what? I said it. And then she was like, okay, I'm writing you up. And then I was like, good, write me up. And she goes off and she like starts writing me up. And then I'm like, can I go call my mom? And she was like, well, you can't use my phone. Go down to the office and use that phone. So got my planner, had her write the note, went down to the office, called my mom, just started hysterically crying because I was so angry. And my mom ended up telling me, oh, just do what you gotta do. It's your last year. It's almost over. Just do what you gotta do and hurry up and finish. Click. And then, of course, I was still upset because I didn't do anything. But whatever. So I go back upstairs. I go to the bathroom because since I was crying, my eyes are like all red and whatnot. And I'm trying to, do whatever to try to get it away. It's not going away. So I'm like, forget it. I'm just going to go into the room and I'm going to put my head down and just be mad. Walk out of the bathroom. Bam! My friend Mara's walking over. I'm like, oh gosh, Mara, you're like a savior. I'm so glad you walked over here like at the right time. And she was, I didn't say that, but like, that's what I was thinking. And she was like, oh my gosh, are you okay? And I like ran over to her and I hugged her and I just like buried my face in her and I started crying again. And she's over here trying to comfort me. And then eventually I told her what happened and she was like, well, why don't you go to guidance? You can't get in trouble if you go. So I'm like, good idea. So I go over to guidance, walk in, and of course Miss P, being the popular guidance counselor that she is, she was busy. So I sit down and I wait in the lobby, and then this behavioral specialist comes that does the anti-bullying committee that I was on. He asked what happened. I tell him, and he's like, well, you know what you gotta do. And I'm like, what? And he's like, you need to apologize. And I'm thinking, heck no, I ain't about to apologize to her. But whatever, I agree. And then finally I go into Miss P's office, and she calls Sims to let Sims know that I am in her office. And I tell her what happened. I proceed to tell her what happened. And then, I also mentioned that the dude was like, oh, but I should apologize. And I'm like, I really don't want to. And Miss P is like, yeah, I know she's a bitch, but if you apologize, she may get rid of the write-up. So I was like, oh, okay, fine, I'll apologize. I get up to leave. I walk out of the guidance counselor's office, down the hall, and next thing I know, I hear over the intercom that there was a student missing, and I hear my name. I am like, are you serious right now? You seriously called and said that I was missing and had this intercom go off around the whole school that I'm missing? Seriously? Like, you know where I am. Miss P called you to tell you where I was, and you're gonna have my name blasted on the intercom? All the anger just went whoosh and came right back, and I was so ticked. I was like, bump, telling her sorry. No, it's not happening. And then, as I was walking back to class, I remembered, if you get written up one time, you can't go to grad night. And I was like, oh, snap. I've never been written up before, and I really, really want to go to grad night. dang, I'm gonna have to fix this. I'm gonna have to tell her sorry and pray that she rips it up. So I go to the classroom, hand her the note that I got from guidance, because I did get a note, tell her where I was, even though she was called or notified, and I proceed to tell her sorry, even though I wasn't sincere about it, but I tried to fake that I was, and to my surprise, she ripped up that write-up, and I am to this day still shocked that she did, because I was not nice to her when I was yelling at her, but she did. She ripped it up, and I ended up being taken out of that class, me and Jessica and a few others of us. Literally, there was only like 2 kids, 2 non-editors left, and then the editors by the end of the semester. Got taken out of her class, and I was free. And that is my story on mouthing off at my teacher. Did I get written up again though? Yes. Did I get to go to grad night though? Yes. That second write-up is a whole nother story, but that's it. That was the time I totally just went off on my teacher. Have you ever done something like that? Let me know in the comments. I'm curious to know. Like, anyways, I hope you guys like this story time, and that's it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Peace out, A-Town.
Okay, bye.